for many exciting careers, you don't essentially need a PhD to proceed and to grow. And this is exactly what I'm trying to cover in my Instagram account, just to talk about these options.
Welcome to Call to Science, where we explore the stories of the people shaping life sciences research. I'm your host, science journalist Brad Van Peerdon. In this episode, we discuss being an inspiration for young scientists, that failure is a way to learn, and if you want to visit Latvia, now's the time to go. Elina Kuznecova. Looking at your bio, it seems like you've taken some pretty brave leaps in your life and your career, leaving your home country at a young age, pursuing a research career, which is not always easy, and juggling career decisions like staying in academics or moving to industry, and ultimately moving once again to step into a high-tech lab at one of Europe's leading life sciences institutes as a lab tech at the VIB Spatial Catalyst. And if all that wasn't scary enough, you've chosen to make your journey public to over 90,000 people on social media under the handle Elina in Science on Instagram. It's not often I get to speak with an actual social media celebrity. In fact, I never spoke with a social media celebrity. So thank you for being here.
I'm really grateful to be here. Yeah, really happy.
So I do want to ask about science communication and social media, but I want to start with asking you about your home country of Latvia, because on my social media feed, it always comes up as this underrated, underexplored travel gem, especially the capital, Riga. Would you recommend?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's a really nice small city, and it's really beautiful. I would also recommend going to Tallinn and to Vilnius, which is surrounding countries, Estonia and Lithuania. So a lot of people do trip around Baltic countries. And yeah, I guess they are getting more popular now, and they are indeed underrated.
So maybe now is the time to go before it gets too popular.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned there in the intro, you left Latvia at a fairly young age and moved to the UK, where you finished your schooling and then went on to post-secondary. Why this move? What was the decision there?
My parents, my father, he didn't believe that Latvia is a good country for the further education, and that's why he did a lot to send my brother to study abroad in the UK. And his final goal was to send me to him as well. And yeah, it all came in reality. So I moved to the UK to live with my brother to pursue further education. And yeah, I'm really grateful that it all was possible because of my dad.
Mm-hmm. So your parents making this decision, did they sort of influence you into science, or were you at this point leaving just to say, hey, there's an education out there, we don't know what topic it was?
My parents are not scientists. My mom, she is actually a dentist nurse, so she was always into medicine, and she definitely had an influence, but I never wanted to do medicine. And there were not a lot of role models for me at that time, so like I didn't know anybody who did science in Latvia, so yeah, but indeed, she definitely influenced my interests, that's for sure, because I wanted to do something disease-related, and that's why I picked biomedical sciences.
Okay, all right. So then the position that you have now, lab tech, can you describe sort of what it is you do, and maybe first, the spatial catalyst? What is that, and what is your role?
Yeah, not a lot of people actually know what spatial biology is. It is a really fresh field, I would say. Traditional molecular biology methods, they look into whether there are genes expressed or proteins expressed in tissues. But spatial biology also adds a context of location, where exactly these genes and proteins are expressed in the tissue. So there is a good example if we imagine a city. So traditional biology methods will let us know whether there are hospitals, schools, or shops in the city, but spatial biology methods will actually allow us to know where they are in the city and how far they are from each other, how they interact. And this is in particularly important for fields such as cancer research, because if we imagine the tumor is not homogeneous. There are different layers in the tumor. There is a surface of the tumor. There is, different levels of the tumor. And it's really important to understand where exactly in the tumor the genes are expressed. This will allow to develop more targeted therapeutics as well. But it's not only for cancer research. It's just an example.
So when you were making the decision to come to VIB and take this position, what was it that was exciting to you about this opportunity? Was it the technology? Was it the VIB itself or Belgium?
I must say that the most important factor which affected my decision was the team. When I met my team, we had such a good chemistry, and I really feel like together we can do a lot. I did meet a lot of passionate people, and I knew that this is the team where I would love to work. And my team lead, she's incredibly passionate, and also, of course, the technology. I have never heard about spatial biology before, and it was mind-blowing. Exactly. So it was. These are the main things that affected my decision, I would say. And then I started to learn about VIB and how great it is to work at VIB, and that it's one of the most influential research institutes in the whole Europe.
You were working before in the UK. You did a master's degree working as a lab tech. And I saw on your Instagram channel that you were open about your decision to whether to pursue a PhD or go to industry, and that this was a bit of a hard decision, a struggle for you.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could tell us about that, because I think for a lot of people that enter research, they don't really realize how many options there are out there.
I had this struggle of whether to pursue PhD or not for many years, like not many years, but a couple of years. I myself do not feel like this is something that will add to my career at the moment. Like, I'm not saying that I'll never do a PhD, but maybe not now. I did consider moving to industry because this is kind of logical. It was a logical step in my career. And it's a funny thing because I was offered two positions, one at VIB, my current position, and another in industry, just exactly what I was looking for my next career step. But something didn't feel right for me, and I did feel like I will miss the research environment a lot. So I just followed my gut feeling. But indeed, people sometimes overlook the opportunities outside the PhD, and you actually, for many exciting careers, you don't essentially need a PhD to proceed and to grow. And this is exactly what I'm trying to cover in my Instagram account, just to talk about these options and let people decide. Because if you don't know, you don't know. So you cannot even consider doing something else.
Mm-hmm. Did you, moving to VIB or even positions that you had in the UK after the master's, did you ever, maybe feel some doubt or I'm not going to be qualified if I don't have that PhD? Was there that pressure there, or were you pretty confident that you knew what you wanted to do? And
I would say it's always something that you're thinking of when you are a lab tech. You are always thinking, will there be a glass ceiling for me in my career? At the moment, I'm just following where life is getting me, and yeah, we'll see.
What are the things that you really enjoy about your position at VIB as a lab tech specifically? I imagine your day-to-day is very varied. You're doing a lot of different things, a lot of different projects.
All lab positions are actually different, and it will really depend on which team are you working in, and the work of lab tech can be routine, indeed, but it was not case for me, not case in my career. And I was extremely lucky because as a lab tech, I was able to learn so many different techniques, meet so many incredible researchers as well, and I was able to learn from them. But what I really enjoy about my position is for sure access to technologies and to cutting edge science, for sure. This is what excites me the most. I'm really curious how this field is gonna develop further, because we receive a lot of new technologies all the time and we need to optimize them, test them. So it's really exciting and it's never the same. And what I really like about my position as well is an ability to support researchers in achieving their goals. Because we are all working for the same goal at the end. We're working for science and we are all a big team at the end. And this is what excites me the most. Being able to support researchers in achieving their goals is very rewarding.
Research assistants, lab technicians, these are kind of unsung heroes in science. You know, you don't necessarily get the authorships or some things like that, but sounds like you still get a real gratification out of producing the results and having your hands really in the science.
And the lab technicians who I know at VIB, these are incredible people, incredible professionals. They teach all the PhD students sometimes, and all PIs, I think they would appreciate having a good lab tech in their team, for sure. And these are the people who will stay for longer sometimes. And these are sometimes the backbone of the techniques in the team, because PhD students come and go sometimes. Lab techs usually stay and pass their expertise to others.
Mm-hmm. So the environment here at VIB, there's many groups and there's lots of different positions. Do you feel like you get that sort of support, that sort of gratification from everybody around, that everybody's sort of working towards the same goal?
Oh yes, for sure. This is one of the favorite things about VIB. It's an incredibly supportive environment. We never feel isolated in our group, and I do feel like we work more as a core facility, but even for the research groups, I don't feel like anybody's isolated. Everybody's communicating to each other, transferring their experience between each other, and people are always willing to help, even if they're incredibly busy. They will take time to help you, and this is incredible.
So how do you think that sort of environment, that sort of spirit benefits you personally as a researcher, but then also in the bigger picture, the science that's being produced at a place like VIB?
Well, science is never, like scientific topics can never be isolated. Like all the fields are tightly interconnected, and you can get useful knowledge from the field which you would never consider maybe relevant for your research topic. And for me as a lab tech, I guess I learn a lot because we work with different samples, with different research groups. We get the background information about their samples, what they want to do, what they want to achieve. So every day you learn something new about biology as well. Like you would never think that somebody will aim to do things like this, but yeah, people are very creative and it's fascinating.
So I have to ask then, is there a particular research area or project that you've really enjoyed recently or that you're really excited about recently?
Yeah, so it's a very difficult sample. Technically, I must say, I do have love-hate relationships with this, but basically, these researchers look into a really rare disease called Moya Moya disease. It's a neurological disease of, I guess, blood vessels in the brain, and it's super rare. And they had a brain of a patient who passed away, unfortunately. And she dedicated her brain for the research purposes. And we are trying to use spatial biology techniques to learn more about this sample. It's super tiny, it's really hard to handle, and yeah, we're not entirely sure how to do it yet, but it's super exciting, and we really hope that we'll be able to optimize it.
With these techniques, you're looking into the body, you're seeing things and how the body works and how it can malfunction, let's say, in very intricate detail. Does this change the way you think about life and what it is to be human?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes every day when I wake up, I'm grateful that today my body is functioning properly and that all the genes, like today, are functioning as they are supposed to, because I know how intimate this balance is and how easy it is to disturb this balance. So yeah, it is fascinating. I think about it a lot, and yeah, biology is incredible.
So now we have a segment called Dare to Ask, and these are questions from the VIB community, questions that people had that they never dared to ask. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Have you ever had a scientific assumption completely overturned by one of your own experiments?
Yeah, working in spatial biology fields, we sometimes test the samples on beforehand to see if the quality is good enough. And sometimes, even though the quality is great, you get an unexpected result, but it opens doors to more scientific questions and to why this is happening. And it's also a very exciting part of the science. You get more questions and you're working hard to answer those new questions.
What's the best part of being part of such a collaborative environment at the VIB?
So I guess the great part is, of course, that you don't feel isolated in your research, and you do learn a lot of new things from all over the VIB. You learn techniques from people who work with plants. You learn new techniques from people who work with cancer tissues. So it's just this passing of experience between researchers is incredible.
If you could take a year to work in any other area of science, what would it be and why?
I would definitely try working in gut microbiome field, because this is the field which I was focusing initially in my studies, and I still think that it's an incredibly fascinating field. This whole world in our guts, which affects every aspect of our life, essentially. So it would be great to join this research one day as well.
All right, one more for you. If you weren't working in a lab, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
Maybe the expected answer would be science communication, but I would maybe do something journalism related, or as you do, or philology related. This is what I kind of wanted to do when I was a teenager as well. It's hard for me to imagine myself being outside science now, and I don't think I would enjoy being outside science that much. But yeah, these are just options.
Well, I guess that means you found the right thing
Yes,
for you,
yeah,
so that's
yeah,
good.
for sure, yeah.
This was Dare to Ask. If you have a question that you've always wanted to ask, leave it in the comments or ask anonymously using the link in the description. We make this podcast to highlight the people behind the science. If you like what you heard, please leave us a review or share it with someone you think would like it too. I want to talk to you about science communication, your Instagram account. Is science communication that's in general, whether it's on social media or otherwise, is this something that you've always been interested in, or that you just decided this is important, I want to do it? Mm-hmm. How did that come about?
I actually have a day when I decided to do this. It was after one of the HIV lectures I had at the university, and I knew that sexual health education is not as great in Latvia. Mm. And I thought that I cannot keep it to myself. I had to share this information and the importance of it. And I created my first post. I was super stressful, but yeah, I just couldn't keep it to myself. And then the more I learned at the university, the more I felt like I need to share this. If not, I'll just explode, or I'll torture my partner or my parents. So yeah, they don't deserve this. So I wanted to share it publicly as well. And yeah, I do it still. I changed the concept of my science communication to make it more tailored to what I do now. But yeah, this is something that I really, really enjoy as well.
When you switched the concept a little bit of your channel, did you have a target in mind, or was it again just like, I'm just so excited about this, this is now just an outlet for me to get it out?
I was really excited about the research that I was doing at that time when I started my English speaking account. It was at my time in Oxford, and I worked with cells, and yeah, it also helps you when you share it, it helps you to understand things better. Another thing was that I started during my master's to face a lot of isolation in a sense of failure. For example, there is a lot of failure in research, and everybody knows that. But when you are not as experienced, you do take it very personally sometimes. And I didn't feel like I had a support community to talk about this. I found a couple of Instagram accounts where people were actually sharing that, yeah, I failed today, or I made a horrible mistake today, but yeah, life continues. You still do the research. And I just felt like I would also like to create such community for others, to support researchers, bachelor students, master students, to let them know that, yeah, we're all in the same boat. Things happen, and yeah, and also support their understanding in basic techniques. Yeah, it is also my goal.
We all know that science, everyone tells you that, right? Science, there's going to be failures, the mistakes happen, but yeah, it's only natural that you feel it personally. In doing that, then, in having this outlet to do that, and now it's grown into other things, did that help you to then deal with it better in the lab, do you think?
Absolutely, yes. I gained a lot more confidence, yeah, I mean, for sure, it does help you. When you say certain things, you also start believing in it yourself, and when you try to support fellow students, you're kind of supporting yourself as well. So it's a mutual relationship with with people who follow me that we support each other, and it does make research life easier.
You built this community on Instagram. Have you met people through there, or do you get feedback? Like, do people reach out and share their experiences?
Oh yes, it happens all the time, and I do have some connections even in spatial biology. We do share some experiences, and it's fascinating how easy it is to make connections via social media.
So as your Instagram account started to grow, was there a moment where you really felt like, oh wow, now I'm reaching people, I'm starting to have an impact?
I guess this is when younger students started messaging me that I was the reason why they picked biomedical science for their studies, and it is a big responsibility, I would say, but I'm also happy that I managed to show my field in a way that inspired people to the extent that they actually decided to do this, because there is a misconception about science that it's boring or it's only for nerds. So science is for everybody, and this is what I'm trying to show in my account as well.
Well, I went through your account, and I definitely think you're making it look cool. So
yeah, I'm trying.
Mission accomplished.
I'm trying hard.
I have to ask: is it sometimes exhausting to come up with posts, and do you feel like a pressure to post now that you have sort of a community?
I think I would have stopped if I wouldn't enjoy it anymore. It is definitely time-consuming, but I come up with a lot of ideas all the time. They just come up in my head, and I just film it. And when it stops, it stops. I'll not continue if I don't enjoy it anymore. So, and people will feel it as well, and I'll not be able to share my passion the same way anymore. So what would be the point, I guess?
Yeah, it makes sense. And I asked the question just because I know that not every scientist has that personality where they're able to or want to go out there, put themselves out there like that. But I think it is a valuable thing. I think it is a useful thing to do with your time. And so if you could give advice to someone that, maybe wants to try science communication or social media in particular, what would it be? Yeah,
I do feel like one of the factors that can stop people from doing this is social pressure. You just have to try. It is needed for scientists to be present on social media. It is working. It does attract younger generations to science. It does make it more accessible. So if you are doubting, or if you are thinking that people will think about you too much, it will not happen. People don't care. So you should just try. If you are thinking about it,
Looking beyond Instagram or into the future, is there some other type of maybe outreach or education that you would be interested in doing?
I would really love to go to schools and maybe showcase some experiments at schools. Again, my Dutch is not that great yet, non-existent, I must say, at the moment.
We could try French.
Oh yeah, non-existent as well. So but this would be something that I would really love to do, working with children.
So then, again, looking to the future, let's say in the lab, what is something, if you could project 5-10 years down the road, what's an area, or where would you like to have some kind of impact?
we don't know what's exactly going to happen in spatial biology field, because sometimes newer fields, they kind of develop into something really unexpected. So I would just love to witness this, how spatial biology actually develops, what it will lead to. And I'm really curious. I do think it will change throughout the years, and it's great to be there. It would be great to be there.
Right. This is the last question that we ask all the guests, and that is, if you were to run into an omniscient, all-knowing being, what's the one question you would ask?
I would probably ask, what's the most important misconception that we have about modern science? Because I do think that there are certain things that we believe in, but maybe they're not true. Yeah, and in a couple of 100 years, it will be, future generations will make fun of us.
that one, I often wonder that too. You know, you look back at some of the old things that they
exactly,
thought, what is it? What's the thing that we're doing now that people are going to look back on?
Yeah.
And then I guess you only get one question to the all-powerful being, so they only pick one area where we can open that door, but there's probably lots, right?
There are probably a lot, yeah. Maybe in biology then.
Yeah, I would say that. Maybe physics. There's maybe a breakthrough that's needed in physics to really understand what's going on out there. But I agree. Biology is the way to go. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Thanks a lot for having me.
If you want to hear more inspiring stories from our VIB scientists, subscribe to Called to Science. And if you like what you heard, please leave us a review. It really helps. Thanks for listening.